Welcome back to Let's Know the Real Estate Ecosystem, your go-to podcast for unfiltered story from the people shaping today's real estate market. Today's guest, well, she's blend of grit, grace, and game-changing insight. Meet Gabriella DLCO, licensed in both New Jersey and Pennsylvania with prominent properties South Bay's International Realty and Curvis South Bay's International Realty. But her journey didn't begin with keys and contracts. It began on horseback. Yes, you heard that right. From just 5 years of age, Gabriella immersed herself in competitive equestrian sport, a world that taught her focus, discipline, resilience. And it's those very traits that now drive her standout success in real estate. Since jumping in full time in 2018, she has done more than just closing deals. Gabriella helps families find home, and she does it with warmth, patience, and a proper market research. Her preparation are always proactive and on track. Her clients don't just hire her, they trust her, they refer her, they return to her, and I guess that says everything we need to know about her. Today's in this episode, we'll explore how she is blending these two worlds beautifully together, the transition from equestrian competitions to real estate client care, what is fueling her result-oriented approach, and the power of staying clear and transparent in these high stake industry. So let's saddle up and dive in. Gabriella, a warm welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, Gabriella, let's begin with what equestrian real estate is in just one sentence.
Is combining your passion with your lifestyle, truly. Passion and lifestyle together as one.
And let's rewind to your early days in equestrian sports. That's such a unique foundation. How do you think that experience shaped your mindset, and how does it still influence the way you work with clients today?
So, I think my early passion for horses really taught me the importance of preparation and mental toughness, because when you're working with animals, especially horses, because they're very emotional, things don't always go as planned. So you really have to be disciplined, detail-oriented, and just stay very calm under pressure. And honestly, that's exactly what real estate feels like sometimes too. There's no two transactions that are ever the same. Just when you think you've prepared for everything, a curveball shows up. It's a lot like working with horses. So you really need that focus, that resilience, and the ability to adapt on the fly. So yes, all those years around horses definitely shaped the way I show up for my clients, because it's about being ready, being thorough, and never letting surprises shake your composure. Especially, if you want to win in the show ring and you want to win in business, you can't let it shake you.
I love that comparison. The real estate and horses both definitely come with their share of unpredictability. But now this is making me more curious to know why real estate. I mean, with your background, you could have done incredibly well sticking with equestrian sports or even venture deeper into athletic world. So what made you want to merge these two very different worlds together?
So actually, real estate was not my first career. Before this, I was a hairstylist. I lived in New York City and did hair there for 2 years. And before that, I started my career back home in Pennsylvania. And while I absolutely love the industry, the creativity, the connections, it just didn't feel like it was going to be enough for me long term. I've always known I wanted horses to be a part of my life, and I wanted something more dynamic, I would say. My parents owned real estate, so I was always around it growing up. I saw the potential it had and how it could really open doors for you. There's just something about luxury homes and luxury horses together. They kind of merge beautifully, and I love homes of all kinds, just like I love horses of all kind, whether it be a cozy condo or a sprawling, multi-million dollar estate, and it's the same with horses. It's just whether it's a small one or a high level competitive athlete, because horses are athletes. I just really love them all. Real estate felt like the right path because it offered freedom to be able to create to grow and, most importantly, give you the tools to stay close to what I love. And that's to be with the horses. I always thought I'd get into real estate, though, maybe down the line in my life. But thankfully, I ended up getting my license when I was 25. And once I stepped in, it just felt right.
So, when did you come to realize that this was the path where you could really bring in your unique strengths, especially the skills and mindset you developed around horses? You had a background as a hairdresser, like you shared, but what was that moment where something shifted and you thought that this is it, this is where I want to go?
Yes, so at the start of my real estate career, I actually didn't merge my equestrian life with it. I wasn't really active in that world at the time. Something had happened when I was 18 with my own horse, so it was actually really traumatic. I was riding at such a high level, and then just like that, everything ended, and it really left me heartbroken. So when I stepped into real estate, I focused strictly on residential. I didn't have the emotional strength yet to bring back horses into the picture. It was like just, that chapter was closed. Sometimes I would still dabble in, dabble out, but it was just really difficult. And then, over time, I always felt this nagging sense that something was missing. I was in a long-term relationship that eventually ended. And when that happened, I really had to look at myself and ask, what is it that I'm searching for? What do I need to make me feel whole? And the answer was pretty obvious. I needed to have these horses back into my life. So it's what makes me feel most like me, which I didn't truly know or understand. The drive, the passion, the structure, the lifestyle, it's also deeply ingrained in who I am. I had tried to fill that space with other things, other people, but truly nothing compared. So almost 2 years ago, I made a decision. I have to figure out how to merge these two worlds, real estate and equestrian, because it just speaks to my soul. And ever since then, it's felt like I'm exactly, where I'm meant to be, pretty much.
So, got it. So, Gabriella, if you are okay with it, and I would love to revisit something you briefly mentioned, and with your permission, of course, I would love to hear more about what really happened back then and what made you walk away from equestrian world so suddenly. What happened? What changed?
Yeah, so I'm okay with sharing. It's a very important part of the story. So growing up, I was probably one of the luckiest girls at the barn. I had this amazing horse. He was truly a diamond in the rough. He was so talented, so athletic, but more than that, we had this incredible connection, and the kind that's really rare to find in the sport. It took a lot of time, patience, and just a lot of work to cultivate this, but we became true partners. Together, we competed at some of the highest levels you can reach under the age of 18. I traveled all along the East Coast, spent time in Florida, competed in nationals, finals. It was like really an amazing dream. And it really was like a magic carpet ride, and you just learn to develop this silent language with your horse. You just know when they're off or if they're having a really good day. It just becomes very intuitive between the two of you. But right before nationals, he got injured, and the plan actually was to sell him. He had become very valuable and worth a lot over time, and I was heading into the next chapter of life like most riders do around college age. But then the injury happened, and what followed was a year long of rehab and recovery, followed by, more attempts to try and bring him back to work again. And every time we tried to move forward, he would hurt himself again and again and again. And eventually it became clear he didn't want to compete anymore. And our connection felt like, okay, if I wasn't going to compete anymore, then neither did he. So it ended just like that. And honestly, it was traumatic, because much more traumatic than I even fully understood. I had wrapped so much of my identity around that world. I was very deeply connected because of what we got to achieve and accomplish together as partners. The horse, that partnership. I didn't do any other sports growing up. It was all or nothing for me. So when it ended, I felt like I lost who I was. So for a long time, I held on to that heartbreak. I tried to get back into the world here and there, but I kept comparing every experience to him, and nothing ever matched up because I was very spoiled because I had, such an amazing partner. So it took time to process all of that. But looking back now, I see it was a, part of a bigger journey, one that eventually brought me to where I am today.
So that must have been such a shock for you back then.
Yeah. And honestly, I didn't even realize how much of a shock it was until later. Like as I started moving through life, through my first career and now real estate, it's funny, I'd find myself comparing that bond with Gus, who's my horse, to my human relationships, and nothing ever really came close. And I've just had to come to accept that. So that kind of connection, what we built, what we achieved together as partners, was very rare. And I'm not ashamed to say that. People think, oh, you had a horse, but it was much more than that. He was deeply connected to my identity, and it took me years to understand what that loss really meant.
Yes. Gabriella, if I may know, that is this that same horse in the photo you had on LinkedIn?
No, that's not my horse, Gus. It's a different horse, but I have plenty of photos of him saved.
Please share one. We would love to include it. Maybe it will be our good luck charm for this episode. And as he is clearly such an important part of your journey.
Absolutely. His name is Gus. And yes, definitely let's bring Gus into the episode because he was the beginning of everything for me.
So it's beautiful to honor him like that. And just to say this out loud, this episode is about your story. We are here to understand how your path shaped this unique corner of the real estate world. So speaking of that, coming back to equestrian real estate, what is the biggest misconception people tend to have when buying or selling these equestrian real estate properties?
That's a great question. I'd say the biggest misconception is people not realizing that it's not just about the home, it's about the entire infrastructure of the land. You really have to understand the layout, the drainage, the condition of the fields, the quality of the footing in the arenas. It's all critical for the horse's health and performance. So if you're not familiar with that world, you might miss things. That doesn't mean someone without equestrian experience can't help, but when you've lived it, you instinctively know what to look for. You know what makes a property safe and supportive for both the horse and rider. And the truth is, we horse people, we love our animals so much, sometimes more than the humans in our lives. So we notice every little detail. You can't just walk onto a property and say, I'll just, put, 25 horses here. There's zoning, soil, terrain, land usage rules, so much you need to get right before making a move.
You mentioned earlier that both your mom and dad were also involved in real estate. What kind of real estate were they into? Was it commercial?
So real estate wasn't actually their full-time focus. They've owned a separate business for over 30 years now, but alongside that, they've been very involved in buying and selling properties. Sometimes they buy and hold, sometimes they fix and flip, and they do own a commercial building as well. My dad, especially, he's an old school Italian man who loves rolling up his sleeves, working on something, constantly doing a project. After a full day, running his business, he'd go to one of the properties and do the work himself. That was just his way. So growing up, I was always around it, just saw him working constantly on something. That mindset of this is what you do, buy, build, hold, it was just ingrained in me, very early in life.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it sounds like it was already truly in your DNA. And for our audience, how would you explain the difference between commercial real estate and residential equestrian real estate? Now, these are the two different worlds,
Uh-huh.
I know, but just for our audience, what sets those apart?
Yeah, great questions. When it comes to equestrian real estate, you typically see two types. The first is commercial equestrian properties. These are full-fledged facilities with could be 25 to 50, 100 horses, and they are a full training program with staff, maybe a breeding operation, and it's a full-fledged business. It's not just land, it's an entire ecosystem for competitive riding, boarding, training, buying and selling. So then you have what we call residential or hobby farms. These are smaller, more personal setups. Maybe someone just has their own horses on site, or they allow a couple of boarders, but it's not really a business. It's for the love of the lifestyle. They might have a full-time job elsewhere and keep their horses at home just to stay connected to the world.
Got it. So basically, two buckets. One is commercial equestrian and one is hobby equestrian real estate. That's a new learning for me as well. And what is so clear in your approach is that you are not just selling properties, you are selling lifestyles. Now, could you tell me that what equestrian real estate lifestyle looks like from inside? Just your experience, the like from the inside
Could you
world.
tell this for what? Oh, equestrian lifestyle is you eat, sleep, and breathe your horses every day, all day. You revolve your whole life around the care of your animal because it's an animal. You need to take care of them. Even when you keep them at a barn where they do the feeding, the cleaning of the stall, you have to be there to actively participate in other forms of care. So your lifestyle is taking care of animals, big animals, not just small ones either. And then you have all the equipment, you have all of the traveling that if you're so fortunate to do with them, it's a major lifestyle.
Yeah, a lot goes into it in this
A lot of
maintaining a
preparation goes
lifestyle.
into it. There's obviously different levels to it. Not everybody has to, compete if they don't want to. But when you are of that caliber of rider that is competitive, there's so much that goes into it. So much. My horse used to get so much, from the acupuncturist to the massage therapist would come. He would get his back cracked, the chiropractor, because there's so much that goes into creating this athlete in order to, cultivate this winning athlete for yourself, for you and them.
Cool. So, okay. My next question will be, how do you operationalize that mindset in practice? How do you make sure your clients, especially with such diverse needs, always feel prioritized?
So for me, it starts with honesty. Always. I don't just tell people what they want to hear. I tell them what they need to hear, especially in equestrian real estate. It's not just about the home, it's about the land. So the animals, the lifestyle. So I'm very direct about what the property actually offers and what it doesn't. I want my clients to make informed decisions, right? So I take time to understand the story behind why they're moving, why they want this kind of lifestyle, because it helps me, match them with something that genuinely fits. Whether it's a, commercial farm or a backyard setup, I look at the whole picture, how they live, how their animals live, and how they all live together.
That is so important, especially in this niche. You are not just dealing with lands and pricing, you are dealing with passion, purpose, and people's deepest connection. So, my question is, how do you create that space for open communication with your clients? Do you follow a formal process or maybe just a questionnaire, or is it more intuitive?
I don't use a formal questionnaire, at least not on paper. I just talk to people. I ask a lot of questions myself and try to gather as much information as I can through conversation. But honestly, at the end of the day, I always say, you just have to go and look. You've got to go see the property. You got to feel it, walk it, experience it. That's when you'll really know if it's the right fit.
You have a very strong background in equestrian sports. What advice would you give to someone who has just started out or is just starting and looks up for guidance?
That's a really great question. I mean, I've been doing this since 2018. So yes, second nature now, but when you're starting out, I absolutely do recommend creating a checklist or even a loose framework of questions, especially in a niche like equestrian real estate. It is essential. But more than anything, get a good mentor. Whether you're going into equestrian luxury or just traditional residential real estate, find someone who's done it and don't be afraid to ask questions because Truthfully, you don't know what you don't know. When I started, I knew nothing, like literally nothing. I didn't even know buyers and needed a down payment. One day I just woke up and said, okay, it's time for something new. I love real estate. I love horses. That's truly like how it started for me. And honestly, my background as a hairstylist helped me a lot. It's a people first business. So it was, people to people, interacting with people all the time. So real estate is the same. Just be human, be curious, have real conversations. And that's how I found, my way, pretty much.
That's powerful. Just being a human first and not trying to have all the answers. And clearly, your people skills and your intuitions have become a major part of your success. So, I would like to build up on that. I would love to shift into something a bit deeper. With your strong foundation in this business, deep market knowledge, and high level negotiation skills, how has your strategic mindset, especially from competitive riding, shaped how you handle real estate deals, especially when you are juggling these complexities of both residential and equestrian properties?
Love that question. So, in the horse world, especially when you're competing, it's all about precision and preparation. You train relentlessly 7 days a week. You travel to shows. You do everything possible to be ready. But then you get one shot, maybe 3 or 4 minutes in the ring, and that's it. And everything has to click or it doesn't. But even when you're perfectly prepared, anything can happen. A bird flies in front of your horse's face. Your horse has an off day that's out of your control. The weather changes, and you have to adapt in the moment. And that mindset is exactly what carries over into real estate. Prep all you want. You can have the contracts, inspections, everything lined up, and suddenly something unexpected happens. Title issues, land usage concerns, a financial hiccup. You can't panic. You've got to adapt. You've got to stay calm, regroup, and keep moving forward. Just like in the show ring, if something goes off, you don't blame the horse. You stay steady and you just work through it.
So basically, adaptability becomes your core strategy in navigating those high stakes situations.
Exactly, especially in equestrian deals. You're not just working with people, you're working with animals too. There are things you just can't control, and the same goes for life. For business, for real estate, control what you can, let go of the rest, and keep moving forward.
You are known for building genuine relationships and working with top tier business partners. How does that collaborative approach help bridge the gap between residential and equestrian clients? Say, someone is looking for a beautiful family home with just enough land for a small paddock. Or maybe the reverse, someone coming from an equestrian lifestyle who now wants to live in a much simpler way.
Yeah. So I see myself as a connector. It's about understanding people's lifestyles, not just their property goal. So, do they need a land surveyor, a lender, a vet, a barn builder? So, I'm the kind of agent who says, whatever you need and how I can help. If I don't have the answer, I'll say, let me find it. Give me some time. Let me find it. And not every client fits neatly into residential or equestrian. Sometimes it's a family that just wants a little land or two ponies. Sometimes it's a full-blown equestrian operation. But the common thread is just listening, really listening, and being a resource. My job is to understand, what that dream looks like for them and build the right team around it.
So that makes total sense. So it is basically to understand the client's story first. Like if it doesn't matter where they're coming from, a big luxurious life to a smaller one, or from a smaller one to a big luxurious life. That doesn't matter. All it matters is how you are taking it up, how you are able to understand their situations, their lifestyle, what are they currently looking for.
Correct. Yeah.
Got it. Now, shifting slightly, if we focus just on residential, how many homes have you sold so far?
If I had to guess, probably between 100 to 150 over my career.
Out of all those, is there a particular story that has stuck with you, something that made you think that this is why I do what I do?
So many stories stick with me because each one is so unique, but I'll never forget one of my first listings I ever had. I was representing the seller, barely, 25 years old, still new to real estate, and the town told us we had to remove our bathtub because it made the home appear to be a two-family, which it legally wasn't. So I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, how am I going to tell this person that they have to remove a bathtub to sell their house? I was terrified. I wasn't from New Jersey. I didn't have deep roots or connections yet. And suddenly I had to deliver this massive curveball. That was the moment I truly realized real estate isn't just about, contracts and numbers. It's very emotional. You're delivering good news and tough news, sometimes in the same sentence. And it reminded me of working with horses. So much of it is about reading energy, staying calm, and handling the emotional, weight. But I made it through. I figured it out. The deal closed, and it taught me I can, I do have the capacity to hold space for people during some of the most stressful moments of their lives. So it was good, but I'll never forget it.
What about working with the first time buyers? Do those moments stand out for you?
Definitely. I've helped so many young couples buying their first home. That really hits home for me because I bought my first house with my partner at the time when I was 26. So we called it our starter home. And so when a young couple comes to me with that same dream, I completely connect and understand what it means and feels like. And the best part is when they come back a few years later and say, "We're ready to upgrade. Can you help us again?" So that to me is the greatest compliment when they continuously, keep coming back to you. There's so many real estate agents out there and trust you, not just once, but again, and even refers you to family and friends. That's everything.
That is beautiful, and I love how personal that connection is for you. It's not just about transaction, it is about the trust you build over time.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, when someone comes back to you or send their referrals your way, that is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, we all see the highlights, right? The closings, the celebrations.
Mm-hmm.
What we don't always see, are the low energy days, the setbacks, the dips in motivation that comes with this line of work, or just life in general. You have been through a lot before you figured it out
Mm-hmm.
how to merge both the worlds. How do you cope up when these times and these rough days hit you hard? What is that mindset or strategy that help you reset?
I've made a lot of sacrifices over the years, especially around my passion for horses. So when my horse Gus got injured, I had to stop riding. From that point on, every career move I made, hairdressing, real estate, was ultimately about creating a life where I could afford to bring that part of me back. So by 2021, I found myself really reevaluating everything. I had bought a home with my partner. Our life shifted and things got complicated personally and financially. I was deeply invested in that chapter, but I started to realize I wasn't living in alignment with what actually mattered to me. So selling that home in 2021 itself, something I was emotionally tied to, it ended up being a turning point because it reminded me of how powerful real estate can be when you truly do understand it. It's not just as a career, but as a tool for taking back control and rebuilding your own terms. I love horses. I love fitness. I love being outside. So in 2023, when we split up, I started riding once a week again, and it healed something inside of me and brought life back to me. So that experience made me double down on my career. I wasn't just helping people, buy or sell homes. I was helping them make real foundational shifts. So I started writing again just once a week. And that small return to something I loved, it changed everything. It felt like I reconnected with myself. I was more motivated and clearer about the path moving forward.
Such an important shift. And you literally sold your own home and used that as fuel to push forward in the industry.
Yes. It brought me back to who I am, and it made me a better advisor too. I understand that what's at stake, for people when they walk through the journey, it's not just about price, points, or square footage. It's about alignment, and I'm very intentional about that with my clients.
So, clients often describe you as someone who brings unwavering enthusiasm, patience, loyalty to every transactions that you do. How do you maintain that level of calm and dedication, especially when the deal isn't just about a dream home, but also a specific and emotional needs of the horses?
Well, patience starts in the barn. If you want a horse to be your partner, you can't rush them. You have to build trust. You have to lead, not force. You learn to be calm, observant, and intuitive. You understand that, good results come when the relationship is solid. And it's the same with clients. I want them to feel like they can trust me, that I'm truly in their corner. That's what allows us to move through challenges smoothly. So, as
Mm-hmm.
real estate agents, especially in niche markets like equestrian and luxury, we're here to solve the problems, right? So, most of my clients have demanding careers, doctors, lawyers, executives. They don't have time to think about every little detail in a transaction. So, that's my job. And when horses are involved, that responsibility multiplies. It's not just moving a family, it's relocating living, breathing animals that require special care. One mistake could mean injury or trauma for the horse. So, yes, you have to be exceptionally calm, coordinated, and prepared. So, that trust, that open communication is everything.
That presence you bring to your work is so clear. Now, as someone who's a part of a globally recognized brand, how does being with Southbase elevate your ability to serve both the worlds, the residential and equestrian clients?
So Sotheby's is iconic. It's one of the oldest and most respected luxury brands in the world. I actually recently joined Sotheby's and became part of the #1 team in New Jersey per the NJMLS. Our team, NJ Proper, is known for going just above and beyond. We're equipped to market everything from a sprawling 100-horse commercial farm to a charming two-stall setup in someone's backyard, 17,000 square foot home to a 1,000 square foot apartment. And, we have every tool available: stunning photography, strategic digital marketing, very high-end social media campaigns. And when a client lists with us, they're not just selling a home, right? We tell a story and we help them do it beautifully. So the luxury of Sotheby's aligns perfectly with the equestrian lifestyle. Horses are by nature a luxury. So when you merge a luxury brand with a luxury lifestyle, it just fits and feels aligned.
So, beyond the name recognition, what are some of the specific market strategies you use to ensure your listing truly stand out, whether they are residential or horse properties?
So we take a storytelling approach. We go deep with content, really high-end video tours that are lengthy, that describe every single detail as much as we can, with measurements about the property, really as much information as possible. Targeted social media on platforms like Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, every single detail matters. Every home deserves to be showcased with intention. And then when it comes to horse properties, it's even more personal. The sellers love their homes the way someone loves a beloved horse. So there's pride, history, emotion. We don't just put up photos and hope for the best, right? So we create a narrative, something that honors the seller's experience and connects the buyers emotionally. So it's not just a transaction, it's really a legacy, and that's how we treat it.
So, that is so thoughtful. Now, with all the demands you juggle in both residential and equestrian real estate, how do you recharge yourself? And how do you stay connected to your roots outside of the work?
It's very simple. I just ride.
Sure.
If I'm overwhelmed or ungrounded, off balance, I just go to the barn, get on a horse, and leave my phone. I try not to bring my phone, and that time in the saddle brings me back to myself. Sometimes it's just, I go for a leisurely ride, just me and the horse, breathing, moving together. Other times I'm in training, which I love. I don't train others, I train with someone. And when my trainer is drilling me and we keep working at something until I finally get it, that's like the best feeling in the world. And it clears everything off of my plate because I know if anything I can control that day, it's just my performance on the horse. So the barn is where I process, release, and come home to myself. And nothing else gives me that same equilibrium. Nothing else.
So the connection to your roots, that equestrian world, it's clearly a vital part of who you are today. But looking ahead now, how do you see the future of real estate evolving, especially with the integration of technology that is coming in? Are there any innovations you are excited about that could merge these two worlds together and where technology can be a big part of it?
Yeah, technology is absolutely essential. If you're not keeping up, you're going to fall behind, period. Everything starts online. So people are shopping with their eyes first, and especially with equestrian buyers, they often migrate to very specific regions of the country, so they know what they're looking for. So when they see detailed photos, drone footage, virtual tours, and they like what they see, they're in, just like that. It really helps streamline the process because these clients are often looking for very specific features in a facility. Um, Technology brings the whole vision to life before they ever even pick up the phone.
So, apart from the virtual tools like video and drone footage, are you using any other kind of AI into your work, especially now since we all know that AI is booming?
Yes, we are. Even like ChatGPT, like for listings, we do virtual tours, professional videos, drone, the whole works. We even build dedicated websites and use Matterport for 3D scans and floor plans. It captures all room dimensions in full detail. We want a buyer to feel so informed just from the online experience that by the time they call us, they're already halfway sold. That's the goal. Clarity and confidence before the first call.
That is brilliant. That is brilliant. And yes, I was just curious about the role of AI because it is such a hot topic right now. How it is influencing equestrian and residential real estate.
Yeah, it's definitely playing a role. People use it for writing, for learning about market trends, for efficiency. But my take is it's still a person to person business. So AI can't replace human connection. It can't feel for you. And in real estate, that emotional resonance really matters. You're not buying a t-shirt you can just return if you don't like it. You're buying a home, a lifestyle, a structure. That energy, that connection only comes from people. So while AI is smart, it can't give you that gut feeling?
Yes, surely. That makes total sense. So now tell me, when it comes to marketing your listing, all the digital work, do you have a dedicated in-house team or do you outsource some of the work?
We do everything in-house. New Jersey proper. The team I'm with has an amazing in-house marketing operation, photos, videos, website, drone work, every single thing you could think of. That was honestly a huge reason I joined them, was the ability to take on, any listing from 100-acre horse farm to one suburban home. Was just, we're equipped for it all because the bigger that you get, you need more tools in your toolbox to market these properties.
That's incredible. That kind of adaptability keeps coming up as a theme in your journey.
Mhm.
What would you say to someone just starting out in real estate today, and what is one non negotiable advice you think they need to hear from you?
I'd say find what you love and immerse yourself in it. That was advice I got from a top real estate agent I worked with in 2024. He sells in New York, LA, Miami, and he's deeply involved in the art world. And when I told him I just wanted to be around horses after a tough breakup, actually, he paused and said, then that's where you need to be. Just be around horses all the time. And then that is the moment that it clicked. That was the moment I realized, this isn't just a job, it's about alignment. So, whatever you love, lean into it. Don't push it aside. If it's tennis, play tennis. If it's music, go to shows. Because that's how your people will find you. That's how the right connections naturally just come. and form. Well, real estate is about relationships, and many of mine go back to my childhood, to my first barn, my first competitions. That kind of trust like never fades, and it's what makes this career so fulfilling.
Gabriella, that's honestly what sets your energy apart. You are not just selling properties, you are bringing the whole aura, a vibe, really, that is so grounded and intentional. It all makes you who you really are.
Thank you. Yes, it took me a while really to accept this because I fully embraced it now and there's like no going back.
So that was in detail a very good discussion that we have. Now, let's loosen up a little bit and have some fun. It's time for our rapid fire round. So I'm going to ask you some questions and you have to say what is there in your head. So, beach house or mountain retreat?
Definitely a beach house. I have one.
Nice. Digital marketing or open house events?
I'll say digital marketing. Yes.
In what sense, what part of digital marketing interests you the most?
Actually, I take it back. I think I prefer open house events. Digital marketing is fun, but it makes me a bit uncomfortable. I'm still learning. I literally just downloaded TikTok. I'm 10 years behind, but I've made a couple of, and so it's fun and wild. I don't know. That's a hard one.
You should keep going. You never know where it could lead. Okay, so next one. What's your favorite part of real estate transactions?
When we get the clear to close from the mortgage lender, everyone's happy and it's like we can finally breathe because we're about to cross the finish line.
Love that. One word to describe your client approach.
Communication, but also trust.
You can only pick one.
Okay, trust because they trust me because I communicate well.
Perfect. A must have amenity in a luxury home right now.
A sauna.
I love that answer. Early morning tours or late night offer negotiations.
Early morning tours. I'm not a late night person.
What's one thing you always tell clients before closing?
Don't put anything on your credit card. Don't buy anything. Pretend you don't have a credit card until after you close. Then you can buy whatever you want.
Great. So, if your real estate career were a horse race, what stage are you in now?
That's a great question. I don't race horses, but if I were in a jumping competition, I'd say I'm now more focused. So the horse isn't green anymore. It knows its job, has shown its potential, and now it's time to refine. So I've moved past the learning curve. I have clarity now, and I'm working toward, a high level of success like training for the Olympics.
Amazing. Step by step. What's the most unique feature you have seen in an equestrian property?
And the swimming pools for horses. So that's rare and extremely valuable for training and recovery. You'd also be surprised how many horses use treadmills for, like my horse, acupuncture, chiropractic care, even magnetic therapy and full spa treatment these horses get. And my horse used to get all of that.
Wow, that's a whole world of care. I would love to hear more about that.
Yeah, I could talk about it for hours, but yes, treadmills, water features, those are standouts for me.
That's a true luxury. Luxury horses, luxury homes, they just go together,
Yep.
hand in hand.
Yep, they complement each other perfectly.
So, what's one thing you wish more people understand about real estate agents?
That we also truly value transparency. As much as clients want it from us, we need it from them too. The more we work together as partners, the better the results. And loyalty, we work so hard for our clients, so just be honest and loyal with us, and we'll give you everything we've got.
This has been such an inspiring and insightful conversation. Your journey from equestrian competitions to real estate, both residential and equestrian, is a proof of how passion and integrity lead to real success. You are not just finding houses, you are building dreams and relationships.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Now, before we go, just one last question. What one guiding principle that allows you to merge your love for horses with the demanding world of real estate, even on the busiest days?
Horses force you to be fully present. You have to be, or they'll sense your energy. That presence, that emotional awareness is exactly what you need in real estate, too. You're helping people through major life changes. So you have to really listen and be there for them. So that's something horses taught me: presence, patience, and connection.
So beautifully you have put it. For anyone in our audience who wants to connect with you to explore equestrian or residential properties, where they can find you?
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, licensed in New Jersey with Prominent Properties, Sotheby's, and also in Pennsylvania with Sotheby's.
Perfect. We'll include all your links in the show notes. And to all the listeners, if Gabriella's story inspired you to think bigger about your own path, whether in real estate or beyond, make sure to subscribe. Let's know the real estate ecosystem and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us grow and bring more incredible stories like Gabriella's to you. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep talking about real estate. Thank you so much, Gabriella.
Thank you. This was so great.
Thank you.